Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. In this final talk, we arrive at the very essence of devotion. You see, the journey is all about freeing the captive. It's actually not about freeing the captive, as we understand that I am the captive. No. The heart is the captive, and I am the one who is occupying the heart. So freeing the captive means removal of myself from the heart. And the heart is the seat, is the throne of God that I am occupying. Devotion at the final level is an expression of freeing the heart from myself and let it become the recipient of the light of God, or let it become the source for the emanation and the emergence of the beauty of God. For me to willfully move myself away from the throne of God and the seat of God. The Quran expresses this in the verse, and those whose hearts find peace with the remembrance of God. Do the hearts find peace with anything but the remembrance of God? You see, my own state and identity is the one that is causing that inner turmoil, that inner alienation. This plagues me at the depth of myself and at the core of my being. Devotion in its final analysis is devotion where I am no longer devoted, but it is only God who prevails and every trace of the I is being removed. This comes through the excessive chanting of the names of God. And the heart remembers those names. It knows those names. Maybe this is the reason why dhikr, chanting, is known as remembrance or reminding, in other words. I'm just trying to take out other meanings, obviously, from the word dhikr. But as soon as the heart gets involved in the remembrance of God, it begins to forget itself. But it puts up a fight nonetheless. And therefore we are told to acquire a state of solitude. Be in a quiet, calm place. A place that is dark. There is nothing distracting us. Now the unique thing that happens with the remembrance of God or the chanting of the names of God, and that is the only thing Quran prescribes excessively and in abundance. Remember God abundantly and excessively. And it says two prominent times where the heart really yields existentially are before sunrise and before sunset. So practice remembrance of God excessively during those times and in the depths of the night. Now what happens here is that because we are bodily identities, we associate with the world. Darkness and loneliness is uncomfortable for us. It's incompatible. But for the heart to be set free, we need to sit within darkness and in loneliness in order to push out ourselves, who is always in need of material impetus, of sense impetus. So we see things, we feel things, we think things, we experience things. That needs to be curtailed and needs to be taken out of us so that the hearts become free of us. Now what happens at that point is that when we are, first and foremost, loneliness is uncomfortable, darkness is uncomfortable. Once that starts becoming comfortable, then we come upon a very major test, and that is that deep from within our subconscious minds and from the depths of our hearts, thoughts and emotions will start emerging. These are the things that are there at the very deep level. And when they start emerging, we become more uncomfortable. And there is this natural tendency to engage with those thoughts and those emotions. But the secret there is to just observe them and let them fade away and go away. This is an expression of freeing the heart from the last remnants of ourselves. And when we start chanting the names of God, La ilaha illallah, Ya Rahman, Ya Kareem, Ya Salam, what the heart does is, heart begins to remember the reality of those names. And those names then start manifesting themselves. Once it starts remembering, once it starts cleansing itself from the alien, it allows those names to actualize through us. Now, it might appear a mundane, superficial, and artificial act initially, just chanting the name Allah, 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 but because the heart has already been involved with Allah, it has a deep memory of Allah. So even if it feels like a superficial act, Allah, 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 it is doing something to the soul from within. And as the soul begins to remember its truth, it begins to then allow that truth to flow. Through this process, we begin to relieve ourselves. Now, one of the things that the masters often state here is that you may want to take a pen and paper when you're in solitude, in darkness, and when those strong emotions or turbulent emotions surface, or those thoughts, write them down. And then once you've come out of that session of remembering God and chanting His names, then look at those things and know that they are the things that are forming your identity right now. And you need to reflect upon them and actively try to push them out of you. And as this practice matures, the chanting Allah, Allah, Allah will deepen, and you will find it emanates from the heart. And it's Allah. The soul will tremble in the awe of God. But also with that, because we are multifaceted creatures and Allah is the beauty in its entirety, the soul often suggests to us which name we should be chanting. So in accordance with our deficiency, a corresponding name will be suggested to us to complete that deficiency and to allow that beautiful facet of God to emerge through us. So Ar-Rahman, Ar-Rahman, Ar-Rahim, Ya Ghaffar, Ya Sattar, all these names will be prompted from within us. And as they are prompted, to actually take heed and then to practice those names. Now, the Blessed Prophet said, adhere to the silent dhikr. He was asked, what is the silent dhikr? He said, La ilaha illallah. You can do it in your lonely times, and you can also do it when you are with people. Because nobody will be able to discern that you're engaged in that dhikr. And it is the most profound dhikr that has ever been given to humanity. La ilaha illallah. And there's a lengthy hadith about it on the day of Qiyamah, which I will not go through at this point. But then that dhikr has to become constant. Now you will feel at times that there is a sound coming from the heart. It is not an audible sound, yet you can hear it clearly. And it might actually baffle you and sometimes frighten you, but these are natural stages of the heart beginning to remember and beginning to then prompt the dhikr. So the apparent dhikr, Allah, 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 will start becoming the silent dhikr. And after becoming the silent dhikr, it will become a loud dhikr from the heart, but not with audible sounds that are audible to anybody else, but to the individual themselves. And once these stages are encountered, the soul is well on its way to be freed and to receive its beloved, not by reaching out to beloved, but by allowing the beloved from within to occupy his own rightful place. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.